We are going to begin constructing a building in MecaWind. We are using example 1A, which is a 15-foot building with flat roof in ASCE 716. This is the document that we will use as reference in the application, so it's easier to follow along. The app will be on the left, while the document will be on the right. First, we will enter the wind load standard, which is ASCE 716. Next, we must enter the basic wind speed. Normally, we would go to the ASCE hazard website to determine it, but we already know that it is 150 miles per hour. Now we go to exposure and select D, which is open water exposure. Since this is a building, we will select our structure type as building. So we go to structure type and select building. In ASCE 716, the pressures are by default LRFD, and so we will specify that the basis is LRFD. This indicates that a load combination factor of 1 will be multiplied by the wind pressures calculated. The next selections in our list would be to select the MWFRS type. However, the MWFRS methods that are valid to use will be dependent upon the building parameters also, and so it makes more sense to enter the building parameters first and then come back to this input. The example we are working is an enclosed building with a flat roof, and so we make those selections. We enter the mean roof height as 15 feet, the width as 35 feet, and the length as 70 feet. We do not have any overhangs or a parapet, and so those are left as none. We also don't wish to use any special override values for height or roof area, so we will leave those as the default value as well. In the example, it was already stated that we will follow MWFRS method for Chapter 27, Part 1. This is the directional procedure and is the most generalized method that we can use for the building. Similarly, the example also stated that we would follow Chapter 30, Part 1 for the CNC, and so we make that selection as well. The dynamic type is set to rigid, which is true of most buildings that are not high-rise buildings. Next, we click the CNC tab so that we can specify the components and cladding. For simplicity, we are simply going to consider one entry for every applicable zone. To do this, we click the Populate button, and then we enter a width and span of 1 foot each. The smaller the area, the higher the components and cladding pressure, and so assuming a 1 foot by 1 foot area is a conservative approach. We click Save, and then we click Overwrite so that it will create all of the zone entries automatically. There are a couple of useful tips we can provide for CNC. On the toolbar, there is an option to select the CNC diagram. This figure comes directly from ASCE 7 and is based upon the parameters that you have selected up to this point. You can see the location for each of the zones.